We're not actually the kind of people that we think we are. We like to think of ourselves as good, as smart, as capable, but we're not.
We're actually quite stupid. We're actually quite bad.
And what happens when things go wrong is that we revert to our baseline behavior, which is just kind of grasping at straws and hoping for the best. What does this have to do with Stoicism? Well, Marcus Aurelius says that the key to the good life is to expect the unexpected, to expect chaos, to expect things to go wrong, because they will. And if you're not prepared for that, then you're gonna be like everyone else. You're gonna freak out. You're gonna get upset. You're gonna make a bad decision. The person that you really want to be, the person that you're aspiring to become, is the person that stays calm when everyone else is freaking out, that stays rational when everyone else is panicking. And the way that you do that is by expecting the unexpected. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. A few years ago, I was working with a major airline, and they called me up. They said, "Hey, we have a bunch of pilots that are getting married. We want you to come in and do a little workshop on how to handle conflict for these guys." So I go into this room, and there's 30 pilots, and I ask the guy, "How did you guys find out about this?" He said, "Oh, yeah, it was mandatory. We all had to go." He's like, "What's your policy on that?" I'm like, "Well, if it's mandatory, then everyone's here. If it's optional, then no one's here."
He goes, "Yeah."
I think we can work with that. So I spent an hour and a half teaching these pilots how to fight in front of their spouse, how to control their emotions, how to stay calm.
And as I'm walking out, one of the guys grabs me and he says, "I didn't sign up for this.
Can I still get out of it?" And I was like,
"No, you have to go."
"It's mandatory."
And he goes, "You don't understand? My wife left."
"She found out I signed up for this thing, and she left. I got to get out of this." I said, "No, you're staying. This is part of the deal."
And he looks at me and he says, "But you said if it was optional, no one would show up." I said, "That's right."
"And you'd be correct. But you also said that if it was mandatory, that everyone would show up. Which is also true. So you can't have it both ways."
Now, if you want to leave, that's fine.
"But it's like the serenity prayer."
You can't have your cake and eat it, too. He gets up. He leaves.
Now, I don't know what happened with his marriage, but I do know that when he left that room, he was the only pilot out of the 30 that didn't have a spouse.
I don't know if that was a good outcome or a bad outcome.
But what I do know is that he couldn't have the best of both worlds.
You see, he wanted to be stoic, but he didn't want to live like a stoic.
He wanted the benefits of being a stoic, but he didn't want to pay the price. And so he ends up losing his wife.
The question is, what are you willing to lose in order to remain calm? What are you willing to give up in order to stay true to yourself? Because if you're not willing to give up anything, then when the rubber hits the road, you're going to be like everybody else. You're going to be freaking out.
You're going to be selfish.
You're going to be worried about what people think about you. You're going to do everything that you do and want to do because that is who you are. You're not the person that you think you are. You're actually the person that you've never met.